Who is the best tank in Overwatch 2 Season 3? I already know the answer, but let me rank them and show you why. I'm going to be doing this tier list for diamond players since I am a diamond level tank player. I play tank probably 90% of the time, so this is the tier list that I'm going to be most experienced with in talking about and most credible. And if you disagree with any of these, feel free to let me know in the comments. I will probably argue with you, but let's just get right into it. Let's start with Winston. I think Winston is going to be a B tier. He's balanced. He's good against certain comps. He's good with the dive comp. He can be pretty dirty at dealing with ball, actually, because ball can't do much to kill the Winston. So if you have a ball on the opposite team, you can counterpick with Winston, and it doesn't seem like an obvious counterpick, but as a ball main, I'm telling you, it's actually very, very difficult to kill a Winston because you can't bump him around as much because he's so mobile, and he can often just jump to get away from you or to re-engage you if you try and leave. Now, D.Va, I'm going to say is a C tier. Again, there's always room for people who are really good at a specific hero, and in that case, I think you can make any hero an A, maybe even S tier, but for most players, I think D.Va's going to be a C tier. Her damage output's kind of mid. Her health is kind of mid. Her cooldowns are good right now, though. Her cooldowns are very good. Her matrix is disgusting. It can suck up any projectile in the game. It can suck up ultimates. It can suck up cooldowns. Matrix is really, really good. But other than that, I think D.Va does not excel at making space. I think anything that you would do with D.Va, you could do better with Winston or Ball. Reinhardt is going to be our A tier hero. After his recent buffs, he's definitely a lot better. Rein is great at making space. If you can get a good pocket on the Rein, he can just charge straight into enemy backlines, start swinging around, and if you heal him up, he makes so much space for your team and you can all hop on point. The only downside to Rein, I will say, is that he does require essentially 2 pocket healers at all times. So you will need to pick DPS that can self-sustain a little bit better than most, like Soldier, maybe even Reaper, because you're not going to get a ton of help from supports with the DPS. If you can get a team that's willing to play around a Rein, he's very strong right now, and his ultimate charges pretty ridiculously quickly. I actually do think that they need to nerf the amount of time that it takes for him to get his ultimate, because I played games where Reins get 10, even 11, 12 shatters in a game, just farming it up. Fire Strike, Swinger Hammer, feels like almost every single fight get another shatter. Hog, I'm going to put a B tier. He's fine now. I mean, he's good. Absolutely not the OP monster that he was last season, thank God. I am a little bit sad because I'm a Roadhog main, or I should say was a Roadhog main. You can pretty much completely shut down a Roadhog with an Ana or a Zen right now. Most of the tanks that are meta also counter him, which doesn't help his case. His damage is just kind of mid now. Where Roadhog does excel is maps with a lot of environmental kill potential, because his hook got nerfed. It's mostly nerfed, but it's actually kind of a secret buff, because hooking people off the edge of the map is way, way easier now. I can say firsthand that I've seen some pretty ridiculous kill cams where the Hog is barely even flicking his mouse over and it just throws you completely off the map. Rammatra, I'm genuinely going to say is an S tier. His damage output is disgusting. Nemesis form got buffed. You can just 3-shot supports in the backline with Nemesis form, and there's nothing they can do about it because they can't shield, they can't block it. So if you can push up close enough to a support, Nemesis form, boom, dead. He makes a lot of space, and he's really, really good at playing around corners. Not to mention, he does have a shield as well. And I know you've all been waiting for this. His ultimate is by far most OP thing in the game. I don't know how changing his ult duration to 20 seconds helps anything. 20 seconds is still way too long for an ultimate to go on. That is enough time for him to chase your entire team back to the spawn and kill all of them. There's no way that an ultimate should ever go on that long. I totally think that it needs to be reworked. Sigma is going to be an A tier, very balanced hero. I think Sigma's just been A tier for the entire duration of Overwatch 2, so I'm not really saying anything new here. I'll just keep this short and sweet. He excels at some maps like Junkertown, Circuit Royale, where he can get his barrier up and get his projectiles going. Doesn't require an insane amount of skill, so I think fairly easy to pick up. Just genuinely a good balanced hero, good tank, good at making space, good at doing damage, has a borderline one-shot. Yeah. Junker Queen, I'm going to put in B tier. Now, at the beginning of the season, I did think that Junker Queen was going to be an A, even S tier hero, but I think we're kind of starting to see the hype around her wear off a little bit. She's not quite as strong as people thought. I will say she is very survivable and actually pretty annoying to play against with shout. If she can just shout over and over and over again, it honestly feels like she's unkillable sometimes. But her damage output's alright. It's mid. Yeah, just generally kind of a mid hero. Now, Orisa, S tier. 100,000% S tier. Maybe in front of S tier. Can I move her in the front? How do I do that? There we go. Orisa is dominating right now. Orisa is by far the best tank in the game right now. Health is disgusting. cooldowns are disgusting. Damage is disgusting. She has everything going for her except for mobility. She does struggle with mobility, but it doesn't really matter. She can just sit and an entire team of people click Fortify. She's not dying. She just is not dying. She can spear people from across the map. She can push into anything with her javelin spin, and then she can get out with Fortify because she's not going to die. Probably one of the most frustrating things to play into, especially if you have two supports on the enemy team pocketing an Orisa. Oh my god. I've seen many competitive games where an Orisa will go the entire duration of the game without dying once, which is completely OP. Never should be happening. Ball, I am also going to say he's an S tier right now. Total 180 flip from last season where I would have said he's a D tier. Ball currently is dominating. I did a video where I played him for 10 hours straight. That helped me push to diamond because he has so much health. He can just run around the entire map without dying. I do think he's OP. I don't want to say that I'm a Ball main now, but I think they may have actually taken the buff a little bit too far. He does not die now. He can roll around and self-sustain the entire match. Barely even needs any supports at all. I will say he does kind of struggle with damage output a little bit. On his own, he's not that good because it's harder to get picks than you think. He does not do as much damage as you might think he does, but if you have two DPS that you're willing to coordinate with, maybe a Tracer or a Sombra or a Reaper, Ball is a disgusting pick. Zarya, I'm going to put C tier. Honestly, not much to say here. I think she's just alright. Not super meta right now. Doesn't have anything crazy going for her. Her damage is fine. Her defense is fine. Utility is fine. She can make space kind of well, not really super well. I think it all just depends on how the other team responds to your bubbles. Last but not least, we have Doomfist. Doomfist is going to be an A tier pick for Season 3. This may be kind of confusing for some people. I think people overreacted to his nerf in Season 2 because I have been absolutely slapped around by a few Doom one-tricks. His damage isn't crazy. It's not OP. It's definitely getting there again. Even if he doesn't do enough damage to kill, his punch and his cooldowns just make it really difficult to take back any space as a tank. Because unless you're going Orisa, Doom will just, anytime you try and make space, bop, punch back. You're punch back away. No space for you. And the time it takes you to walk back up, Doom gets his punch back, boom, bop, you're back off the point again, and the DPS are shooting you. Now, for Season 3, I actually do not think that there's any heroes that are going to be D tier. I think the tanks are really, really well balanced right now. Obviously, the S tier tanks could use slight tweaks. I think they're a little bit too good, but there's no tank that's like really, really awful right now. If you disagree, let me know. I'm going to make a tier list for supports and for DPS as well. So if you're interested in those, go check them out, and I'll see you in the next video.